I will now look at the medical device rules. I know we touched upon them very briefly, but we did not discuss what are they trying to regulate and what are they not regulating. That's also something that we need to understand. Um, so today, all medical devices in India under the medical device rules of 2017 are regulated for quality and safety, which means that we have product standards that they need to comply with. You have good manufacturing practices, GMP standards that need to be complied with. You have storage standards that need to be complied with. There is the right amount of documentation in terms of record keeping that needs to adhere to. And there are minimum sort of qualification prescribed for competent technical persons who will either oversee a manufacturing operation, testing operation, or maybe storage and distribution operations. So that's how quality and safety is regulated by the current law. You have labeling, which has been prescribed. So minimum declarations that should appear on the presentations, on the device packs which have been prescribed. Clinical investigations and recall. All these things are regulated. What's not regulated by medical device rules is pricing. This is something we'll discuss tomorrow in detail, but this law does not deal with pricing at all. It also does not deal in case of medical devices with advertisement. And product liability is also something that the law does not specifically cover. It's covered by other laws in India. So medical device rules, if we've come under the purview of medical device rules, I think it's the top few things that we need to be specifically concerned about today. The bottom part is something that is incidental and will get triggered because we are now part of medical device rules and we will get regulated as medical devices. It's not something which is within the purview of the drug regulators that we looked at in the earlier slides, right? How the regulator or the manufacturer perceives the risk that is attached to the medical device. Okay, so in India we have 4 levels of risk classification. We have class A, which is a low risk class. We have class B, which is a low medium risk class. We have class C, which is a medium high risk class, and we have class D, which is a high risk class. Okay. Why do we have a risk classification? We have a risk classification because like other developed jurisdictions, not every medical device is regulated as stringently. High risk devices are regulated in a very stringent manner. Low risk devices are regulated in a less stringent manner. And what is the stringency that I'm talking about is something that we will see in the slides that will follow. But as a concept, we have a risk classification that determines how these medical devices are being regulated. One very important distinction between how risk classification works in other jurisdictions and risk classification works in India is that it is our regulator who determines risk classification. Okay. Typically, it is upon the manufacturer to explain to the regulator that my product will fall under so and so risk classification, and that is how these are the rules or these are the requirements that should apply to my product. But that's not the case in India. In India, we don't have, let's say, a forum where manufacturers can discuss with the regulator, the central regulator, DCGI, who will take into account the manufacturer's view and then give it permission to submit documents depending on the risk classification. The DCGI has brought out a list in the past of every device, and depending on that device's intended use, has classified that device into one of the 4 classes that you see on the presentation. So that option to engage with the regulator and convince the regulator about a risk classification is not available in India. Now, it's not like the regulator has a free hand in determining risk classification. The regulator is bound by the certain guidelines which have also been prescribed under law. And that is something which is prescribed under the first schedule of medical device rules, which is the 3rd bullet on your presentation. So the regulator also has to go by a risk classification system guideline, which has been prescribed in the law. it is open for everybody to see, right? So if let's say the regulator has done a mistake in classification, you can go to the regulator and say, looks like there is a big problem with what we've done. This is not how the industry as a whole should have been regulated for this product. But you don't have that option open for every product, right? So first schedule can be referred to, for every product. I think the rule of thumb in terms of even before going to the schedule to see how a product is going to be regulated is to see how the product is regulated in countries which have adopted the GHTF classification, which is the Global Harmonized Task Force regulatory classification of medical devices. India largely follows this. And just another rule of thumb is that we are very close to how Singapore regulates medical devices. So the risk classification of a device in Singapore is perhaps going to be the same that India will adopt. If the risk classification, let's say, that we have put out today is lesser than what it is in Singapore, eventually it will be increased. So the risk classification will go up because we try to follow Singapore to the extent we
This is
can.
streaming, right?
All right, hello? Yeah, I think there was some disturbance, but I will move on. This is a comparative comparison between risk classifications around the world and risk classifications in India. This is not an exact or very precise classification, but this is something with which we can work, right? So to get an idea of how a product is going to be regulated in India, and that product is currently, let's say, regulated in EU in that certain manner, this is how perhaps how the risk classification will be perceived in India. It may be different. It is not identical. We don't have a law which says that we are going to follow risk classification as is the case in EU in this way, or US or Singapore in this way. But very broadly, very crudely put, this is generally as a working sort of a model for determining the risk classification in India. Okay, so as I said some time back, the risk classification is important because it triggers certain licensing and data requirement and stringency requirement depending on the type of classification. So you have in front of you a table, and on that table you can see that how different classes of medical devices are regulated in different ways in terms of, for example, inspections that need to happen before grant of a license, in terms of the timelines that have been prescribed by the regulator before the license, and also in terms of the documentation that is required to be submitted along with a manufacturing license or any other license for the time being. And I will spend some time on this slide because it's important. Risk classification also changes the way in which and the speed at which I can get an approval for my product, right? So one thing to note is that the timelines for import license do not change across products, but in practice, if it's a low risk product, it's not reviewed with the same level of intensity as a high risk product. So even though the prescribed timelines are a little higher, the actual timelines are far lesser, right? In terms of how much questions the regulator will ask, what sort of data the regulator will want to see, and so on and so forth. In our experience, low risk products, low and medium low risk products get import licenses far quicker than high risk products. Okay, right. So as you will see on the screen, a license is required in dealing with import, manufacture, or sale of all products. So irrespective of our risk classification, we will need to have our licenses. So that's something that is to be noted and remembered very clearly. If we have a product that falls under class A, then there is no inspection that is to be done before getting a manufacturing license, but an inspection is to be done for every other class of license. The impact of this waiver from or partial waiver from this from inspection before license is reflected in the timelines. And as you can see, in class A, you can get a license in 45 days, a manufacturing license in 45 days from the date of application. So that's extremely quick. Similarly, if you see for class B, and I'm looking at timelines for manufacturing license, which is item number 4 or 5 on the first column, you will see that timelines for manufacturing license for class A is up to 45 days. Timelines for manufacturing license for class B is up to 140 days. But for class C and class D, these are estimated timelines. Now, the reason why these are estimated timelines is because if you are a class A or class B manufacturer, if you do not get your license within the prescribed timelines of 45 days or 140 days, the license is deemed to have been granted, right? So it is assumed that if your license doesn't come, you have that license, and that sort of gives a fair amount of business certainty that my business will not stop. But that's not true with class C and class D products. So when we said that there was a fair amount of stringency associated with risk classification, this is a good example to understand how that stringency actually works. There are similar checks and balances that have been put on class C and class D products. So for example, if we come to the second last column, second last row on the slide, you will see that there is a requirement to provide some sort of safety data where a predicate device does not exist. A predicate device is basically a first of a kind device. So if the product is first of a kind, it's predicate, and a lot of safety and efficiency and those kind of technical data has to be submitted before you get approvals. But if your product is not that, then you have certain exemptions, right? So for example, if class A is something which is a new product, then you require a lot. Class A, even if your product is a predicate device, you don't need to do clinical investigations, but that's not the case with class B, class C, and class D. These are just examples to explain that risk classification actually determines the consequence in terms of how soon the product can reach the market, how easy it is for the product to reach the market. What it does not change, and again, this is something I said specifically when we dealt at the beginning of this slide, it does not change whether a license will be required or not. Licenses are required in India for all classes of medical devices.